I'm Amy.
I'm Delia.
And I'm Wendell. And welcome to
Yes, but
Why?
Podcast. Yeah.
I think it'll drive me into into a downward spiral.
What is numerology that you think it's going to do something bad to you?
Oh, I don't know, because I like finding patterns and connections in reality, just in general, and not in any weird conspiracy kind of way. I just think some things line up in a cool way. I also just, for some reason, numbers in my head. I remember my little brother's birthday because it's March 7th, and mine is the 14th, and they're that's divisible by 7.
Right.
So there's I feel like 7s are a connecting thing with me, and I don't know, it's dumb. I'm smart. I'm a smart, logical person. Hi.
But I really think that there's a lot of things that, have to do with numbers and how,
Yeah.
like the Fibonacci sequence, all the crazy little setups in Earth that look the same, or that are built the same, or have the same structure. It's unusual, but it must exist. It must be sort of the cotton candy maker of the world. How I imagine it everything has to swirl to happen. Even us, we've swirled so many times we became people with thoughts and stuff. That's a lot of swirls.
Yeah. It's our numbers a function of the universe, or something we made up to understand it. It's
Both.
Exactly. And it's fun to find these new things, but I feel there's enough there. Because, my roommate had a guy at the bar the other night that was into numerology and was I don't know, did this whole long thing about how him and my roommate are kindred spirits because of their birthdays or something, because there was a running theme of 23, and that was his number, and there's a lot of, the guy knew so much about it that I was okay, he spent a long time reading about this because this was helping him feel better about things, and I was I don't want to go down that path. I don't want to it's astrology or anything else. I just don't want to give myself.
People attach a lot of significance to numbers. For instance, Georgia's mother has passed away, but when she was alive, she used to always talk about how the numbers 1, 2, 3, 6 were her special numbers. That's what she would play on the lottery, and that was what she felt was her lucky numbers. So now, whenever Georgia sees those numbers in that order together, she thinks of her mom, and it's a beacon of her. So, sometimes I think that's what it has to do with, because I think you're right. When I was in college, I took a class called Number Theory, which is essentially philosophy for nerds who aren't going to take real math but want to talk about numbers. So it was discussing the construct of numbers and why we invented them, and how they worked, and what things happened in math before we understood what it was that we were doing. Yeah. And then the theory behind them, why there's positive and negative numbers, and what that even means, and lots of philosophy crap.
I know that coming up with the concept of zero took a really long time, because I watched this video where they were talking about that, just coming just at the very beginning of it, just the idea of zero in a mathematical context was something that Chinese philosophers and stuff had to take stabs at. I don't know. And it's just that is weird to me. The idea of having to figure out anything about math in the first place, even the shit that everybody already figured out, but just having to define the concept.
Yeah. Yeah, it is weird. Have you guys ever taken philosophy of numbers classes or anything like that?
Mm-mm. No. Mainly because me and numbers never really got along. I always in math class was never really my thing. And when science.
Did you go to college?
Yeah, for a year.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, most of my experience in the sort of philosophical nature stuff was college. My high school didn't have philosophy courses. It wasn't until I went to college, and then they were just oh, this is how you must understand stuff.
Yeah.
Everything in college, we sat around drinking beers and having deep conversations.
Yeah, Reddit is where I get a lot of my I don't know, philosophical information, I guess. They're
oh my god,
just,
that sounds horrible. Not that I don't appreciate that Reddit exists, but like everyone that I've ever known that's like obsessed with Reddit is kind of like not the best person in the world.
Oh well, I mean, there is just a whole subreddit that is just philosophy, and it just poses a bunch of different like questions to you, and it's like, I don't know. Yeah.
I think I know this is like meta with reference to this conversation, but like I actually think it's really interesting that with the myriad of websites that exist and the design that you can possibly have, that Reddit is one of the most famous ones, because it's like very, I don't know, sort of linear in its setup.
Yeah.
Like when you look at it, it just looks like it used to be when, you know, we first had chat rooms. Like when I was living in New York, there was like a chat thing that we all went to chat online. And that's what it looked like. And now with all the fancy, beautiful websites and like amazing interfaces, every time somebody says I do Reddit, I went to the Reddit website and I was like, this is not what I want to look at. Nor is I was like, maybe the phone thing's better. Maybe that's what it is. So I downloaded it on my phone. I looked at it. I was like, this is dumb too. Like, I don't know, something about it. I
think the simplicity in the layout is probably because of the amount of information like on that website, because like Wikipedia is a very plain looking website, and it's like Reddit is, I don't know, there's so much stuff on Reddit, like Reddit is basically absorbing the rest of the internet and like putting it in little categories for everybody to read through. And I think like if you had some like really cool kind of animated like UI or just set up for the website, it would eat up a lot of bandwidth for people. Like it would take a lot more time.
No, you're right. You're right. It's ever changing and like constantly updating, and it's really just words.
And it's been like that forever.
Yeah,
like, the UI really doesn't change that often. And,
so that's your like favorite website to like go look at stuff? Yeah,
totally. Like I mean, mainly just because there's a subreddit for everything, and then there's like any news that happens there like immediately after it happens where it actually happened, and it's cohesive. It's full of terrible people and like all that stuff, but there are just like standard good people just putting real shit on there, and it's super funny. And I don't know, it does a lot of the legwork for me as far as like finding shit I'm interested in on the internet. And like I find a lot of cool websites and stuff through it. Like it'll link something, and then I don't know. Reddit is like, I don't really mess around with the rest of the internet anymore. Like Reddit is just I just let Reddit filter it for me. And
does it have an algorithm, or is it just user changed?
It's just entirely user driven. I mean, most people are Redditors. I think like there are just millions of Redditors, and
I mean, a lot of people I talk to. Delia, do you use Reddit?
I haven't used it in a while.
I'm still a lurker. I actually am too scared to like get involved in it in a like contributing kind of way. Just because I don't know. I've only been a member of like one super forum, and the couple of times that I posted, it would turn into like a flame war every time. I was also like a teenager, but like somebody would just be like, "That's dumb," and then it just turned into a lot of just shit talking and screaming, and like me just getting angry. Like people talking shit at me on the internet used to piss me off like crazy. And
before you realized that was half of the internet.
And before I, like looking back, that was probably like a 30-year-old man really breaking down a like 14-year-old dude, like kid. Like that guy feeling good about what he did is really like how I smile now, because like I lost a fight to him, like like piece of crap basically.
Sure, I hear that.
And
but like I'm like caught in my head imagining this like 14-year-old Wendell like losing a battle and being really upset about it. Well, I don't know. I guess I just don't. I see you, and perhaps when you were younger you hadn't like honed it, but like I see you as a very devil's advocate kind of person, meaning like when somebody brings something up, you don't just argue if you agree with the opposing point of view. You'll argue whether or not you agree with the opposing point of view.
I was a giant contrarian. I was just like, I just felt good being on the opposite side of everybody else's opinion, I guess, just like taking that stance. And then like there have been many times where I just didn't like a person so much that I would argue I would argue a stance I didn't even have, you know, like, just because I didn't want them to be happy for a minute. You know, like, I have just argued
I don't
with
think
people.
it necessarily has to do with, like, making another person unhappy. Like, when I argue another point of view, it's not because I want to, like, ruin that person or hurt that person that I'm talking to. It's because I'm like, all right, I hear your point of view, but here's a different one. Defend your point of view against it.
Yeah. Well,
Like, if you really believe in something and if you really want to stand for something, I'm all for that. But I need you to be able to argue against it. Because it's like, all right, well, what about this, though? This is a valid way of looking at it. Why is your way better? And it's not that I'm, like, trying to ruin that person or hurt that person, but I don't know. I feel like you need to defend it. All of high school and college, all of the classes I took were all about that. It was like, defend your point of view, be able to, you know, see everything from every angle.
yeah, like, there was this woman that I used to work with that was, like, my arch nemesis. Like, I remember, like, asking you, like, who was your Hitler? Like,
Right.
I always have a Hitler, or, like, a Dwight in my life. Like somebody that is just, like, my nemesis. Somebody I just feel like I am at odds with in some way, in like, a deep way. And, there was this woman who was constantly trying to get me fired after I first moved here, because she had an idea of seniority that I didn't, like, fall into, and I just started, like, getting good parties and stuff, and yeah, one night I got stuck in a social situation with her after work, and her and everybody else were talking about Occupy Wall Street, and, like, how great that was, and I've never really felt one way or the other about Occupy Wall Street. I've met people that occupied Wall Street, and I didn't like them, but it's whatever. But I had a really hard opinion about it that night. Like, I may as well have been Gordon Gekko. Like, I just was like, I was just fucking lazy millennials laying around hacky sacking their, like, just getting in the way of capitalism. I don't give a shit, like, really, and that's it. But I just really wanted to razz her berries, you know what I mean? I just wanted to, like, just get her all, like, into it, because none of it mattered to me. See, like, I like that. I like making somebody emotionally charged, and I feel like that's, it's like trolling. It's just me getting somebody amped up, and I have no investment in it whatsoever. I just want them to get all, like, woo about something silly. But I only do that for, like, people I hate.
Amped.
Yeah, I always get very annoyed about dumb stuff. I'm annoyed about dumb stuff right now.
Yeah.
What are you annoyed about? Oh, wait. You want to share with us what you're annoyed about? Or is it, like, with reference to our conversation or your life or what?
Oh, no, I just mean really small dumb stuff. Like the car ride over here was really stupid, because I feel like Austin is just nothing but potholes sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's really annoying.
Yeah.
I was always getting annoyed with a coworker for, like, the past, like, 2 or 3 weeks. But then I just decided to, if she said anything that I thought was, like, particularly annoying, I just kind of made some comment back to her instead of holding it all in. And, like, now I don't care very much, and now she doesn't annoy me as much, because I just tell her up front, like, yeah, I don't want to do that, or, like, no, I see what you're saying, but I kind of disagree with you, and gonna just ask somebody else, or I'll worry about it later. Like, I don't need your help, because she's really annoying, and I think that's really interesting now.
Is she your nemesis, or was she?
I wouldn't call her my nemesis. No.
Is she, like, maybe universally
like
annoying?
Yeah, maybe like a thorn in my, or like a tag that's in the back of your shirt. Like, it bugs you sometimes, but it's fine.
Okay, is she, like, the annoying person in the office, or is she, like, specifically annoying at you?
I think just at me. I think everybody else thinks she's fine.
Okay.
Are you sure? Have you ever had conversations with anybody about it? Because
No,
a lot of times when somebody's, like, really nice annoying, meaning, like, they're so nice that you're like, oh my god, I'm a horrible person for thinking this person is annoying. But then later when you talk to somebody else, they're like, oh my god, she is annoying. And everyone's just keeping it inside because she's so nice that they, like, feel bad themselves for actually feeling it. That's the thing that happens
I have
sometimes.
3 of those where I work.
I have a couple.
I don't know. You have 3. Go into.
No, I just have 3 people that are so nice that, like, I feel like I need to avoid them, because my darkness is, like, ever ever flowing and like
Yeah, like
That's
there's
a good
people
point.
who my relationship. It's not that I don't like them.